Whatever you want to get, wherever you want to be, whoever you want to become could happen and will happen if something changes. But nothing changes if you and I don't change. Here's a big trap. Many people want a different lifestyle. They want to go from building their business to growing their business, from growing to scaling, or from thinking about building a business to start building a business. If you're watching this video, probably you are in one of these 4 stages. And here's a big trap in which I've been trapped for too long time. And I don't want that for you, to think that I can go to the next stage. I can start expecting changes in the outside, in the outer dimension, without changing myself. I want to carry with me those habits, those beliefs, and that understanding about the world and about myself and about everything else. I want to keep it because it's so painful to change. But I want something a lot to change in the outer environment. I want that, but I don't want to change me. Well, it is much easier to change if you know and if you have the tools required, which will allow you not only to change, but to allow you to believe that you can change. Because many people think that they can change, and this is another trap. People say, I'm just the way I am. It's just my personality. That's just me, you know. We'll debate that, especially through the framework which I'm going to share right at the beginning. And then we'll go into the 4-step process, which will give you clear instructions how that happens, where to start, so that you can start today, not tomorrow. Don't wait, not in 2 days, not in a week. You can start it today. It is so easy to start. And that's the mission of today's masterclass. All right, now before we start, I want to remind you about one thing. You want to take some notes. So grab a piece of paper and a pen, and you want to take some notes. Tell to yourself, I'll take some notes so that I can remember what I'm going to put down. I want to remember. That's why I'm going to take some notes. I'm going to take some notes. How does it feel? Feels better, right? I want to remember, so I'm going to take some notes. It makes sense, right? Now tell to yourself, I'm going to take some notes because I want to remember what's important to me. I'm going to take notes because I want to remember what's important to me. Wow, feels good. How does it feel? So why we don't just go and take a piece of paper? So take notes during this masterclass, because I'm going to have some questions. I'm going to we'll use the blackboard so that you can see how does it look, so that you want to take the same notes for yourself, so that you can remember what's important to you. Amazing. All right, so how can we change? Where should I start so that I can make happen that change which I'm looking for, so that I can get whatever I want to get, to be there where I want to be, and to become whoever you want to become. I'm going to share with you some stories, because some painful stories which allowed me to stay trapped for too long time, because I lack these tools which today I'm going to share with you. And these are going to make a huge, big difference in your life. So let's begin. Let's go on the blackboard. You're going to take notes. Okay. Maybe I'll tell you this maybe for a few more times, and that's it. All right, good. In order to do that, we're going to start from the beginning, right from the beginning, but not from the beginning of the world, from the beginning of your life. We're going to go really, right straight to the beginning. So there was a moment when you were born. A soul came on earth. Now, we're not going to go today into spiritual understanding. We're going to maintain the psychological understanding of this framework and the 4 steps. This is just the framework, so that we can understand where we are and where to look, so that you can start to see what you never seen about yourself, so that you can say, wow, whoa, now I can change, so that you are not one of those, sometimes you meet someone, maybe you haven't talked to them in a long period of time, past a year, and you see them and you say, wow, man, they changed. Wow. Different understanding, different emotional management. They're at a different level. Wow. Amazing. Then you meet someone after a year and you say, oh, all right, nothing changed. All right, see you next year. Maybe let me know when that happens, if I can help you or not. How can we avoid being one of the second and to be part of the former one? Now, the soul came on earth. Amazing. All right. So you were born. You're born. Now, how it happens that when you're born, you've got already a setup of some things. By the way, we're gonna keep it simple. Let's not go too much towards too many details. Like, is this like this way or that way? We're gonna just keep it general so that you can understand the framework, and then we're gonna go in the 4-step process. So we've got a consciousness. We also got a body. Okay, we got a body and a mind, not really developed. But nothing is really developed right at the beginning, but we've got them, and there is a soul, and that's a little bit invisible, the consciousness as well, but the mind also is not really visible. So what we see is the body, but we've got this setup right from the beginning. All right, good. Now you might ask me, why do we have to go there? Why should we go there? Because there where it happened. Everything we think and believe about ourselves or about the world started from the moment we were born. And some things were already there. The soul comes with some gifts, but that's another conversation. But we started from there, from zero. So let's understand how we come to that conclusion that we can change, or I'm this way, or I'm that way, or I'm just like this, I can't be like that. Maybe I don't deserve it, maybe I don't have what it takes, and how have we come to this? Now, during our life, I'm not gonna draw a line, but during our life, something happens here. So while we're developing, we're growing, some things happens from the outside. Some factors comes from outside which influence our growth, our boiling process right here, our formation, right? So, came from the outside, came some images. We were exposed to some images. We've seen something. We're seeing the face of our mother, of our father. Then we see other things. So we see things. So we're exposed to images constantly, morning to night, right? Then there are some words with different tonality, with different intensity. So we're exposed to some words. There are some emotions. People are emotional around us. Emotions. What we're exposed to. We're exposed also to some stories when we start to understand the speaking. What else? We go also through some experiences. We're going through some experiences. The parents take us on their arms, or maybe we start to build some friendship with other kids, with some relationship. So we go through some experiences. We're hungry, then we're not hungry. So we start to learn about these experiences. So it's a lot happening from the outside. And all of these factors influence the dance between your mind, your body, and your consciousness. If you are exposed to more emotional stories and to more volume teachings, then you're having a more intense connection to your consciousness. You know what like this is going right, this is not. How do you feel? Maybe you weren't even asked how do you feel, and all you saw are other people's emotions boiling and yelling at you, or they were extremely nice to you, or just different emotions. There were some words and different words. Some people hear good words, some people are exposed to very bad words, but there are words, there is speaking going on. So through these channels comes all these signals. They come in our system, and we build a different dance or equalizer between our consciousness, our body. If we're encouraged, if we see other people which are very athletic in our family, then our body changes a little bit, and we imitate everybody we see around, and that affects also our movement. Our mind, if we're exposed to some exercises, playing chess or mathematics or science. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So we're exposed to so many factors, all right? Now, what's very interesting is that those things are going to build our setup. Those factors, those first years, first days, weeks, months, years, we're not going to the details, shapes our formation between how do we manage the perception of our soul, the way we see our body, the way we think, and the way we reflect and perceive our identity through our consciousness. That dance between these factors and the perception of your soul in the middle, which strives now where your soul goes to, that's another conversation. But your soul is through a process. Then your soul will go somewhere. We're creating God's image. So this is the atmosphere we're here at Exploraself MBA, Wisdom Leadership for Business and Life. Now, the question is that when you go to start behaving, when you start to have some domain, you start to have some domain over your body and mind, when you can start learning how to use it, you are going to use whatever happened here. So let's imagine here is an equalizer. You know how the equalizer looks like in the music. So we form different equalizer for different coping mechanisms. What to do when X happens. When X happens, I can do this. When that happens, I can do that. And we start to build our behavior. And the behavior is that basic beginning, what we begin with, according to what we've been exposed in our childhood. Now we start to use, but we're not really good at using it. We're not really good at using our mind. We're not really rational. We do dumb things. We don't know how to manage our emotions. So we're in the first years, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and somebody goes to until the end like that. And some people do change, but that's the setup that we start with. Now, some people start with a setup. Others starts with a different setup. What's interesting that this behavior is going to shape which is actions are part of your behavior. Not only how you're going to feel, but what are you going to do? You're going to use whatever happened here. That proportion that you formed here, 60, 40, 30, 10, 20, what's the proportion between using your mind, using your body, reflecting, building your relationship with your consciousness, how do I perceive myself as a human, as my identity? Some people never do. And sometimes people were exposed to so many words that everything is identified through the words they've been exposed to. I'm not smart because I've been told that I'm not really. I can't achieve because I've been told, because I've been told, because I've been told. A very quick note here. Have you noticed that everything you think about yourself, negative or bad, or something that you really hate about yourself, which we're going to adjust that in the process, in the first of those 4 steps process. Everything which is negative and bad about yourself, you've been told. You couldn't come to that conclusion by yourself. Your consciousness, your soul never could have told you that. Now, let's not confuse a constructive criticism with a bad word or somebody that has bad intentions for you. But isn't that crazy? That everything bad or negative, you've been told to. And we carry this understanding of who we are according to what happened for a few years in our life right there at the beginning. And because we get attached to this behavior, we can't go back. We can't go back in those years when we were in our childhood. We can't go there. Many people struggle and they live in hate towards that setup that they've got. I've been one of those, and I'm going to share with you some stories. And because they're attached to this behavior, that's what they do, and these are the results they get. And many people want to get the results, a different kind of results in their life. You want to go to the next stage. You want to become more creative, understanding how can I start putting things together? Can I allow myself to believe that I can change and grow and achieve what I want to achieve, or to build the empire you're looking to build? Can I? Or maybe that's not my destiny. Maybe I don't have the gifts which are required in order to be a great entrepreneur, a great leader. We'll get back to that, if that's true or not. Is this the right way of thinking or not? Now, we want to change this. We want to change this, but we don't want to change everything else. And many people say, yeah, but because I can go backward. A few days ago, I was talking to someone and say, man, I'm so unlucky because I have been taught, from the early years of my life, what's this, what's that, how to do, how to build, who am I. It's a understanding of that very little reality, which says, if I can't go backward, means I can't change because it's done. It's a damn fact. This is my setup. That's what I'm destined to live with. All right. Now, we can identify here four stages, 4 elements. The first one is your identity. Now, for me and many others, identity. For many, it's very simple. My identity comes from God. God created me for a mission and gave me those gifts and allowed me to go through those struggles, gave me that setup, which allowed me then to discover by myself with God's help so that I can slay those demons and understand and know and start seeing the greatness in front of me. But that's easier, and that wasn't wasn't always like that. For others, it's a prison. I am this, I can be something else. But going back to that thought, when you say I'm this, I'm just this way, my personality is this way, if you pay attention, you'll see something that's most of the times it's something which somebody thinks bad about themselves, where they see a weakness and they say, this is my weakness, that this is me. They don't say that way when they see some greatness within themselves. They don't say, oh, it's just me. No, they know that they had to put some things aside and to ignore something so that they could allow that greatness to express, to come through them, and to be through their life, to allow it to be at work. So the first domain we see here is the identity. Then the second one is the number 2. The second one is your belief. What do you believe? Your belief system, which was formed right here. Let's change the color so that we can see it a little bit better. Whatever happened here in the first years, that's what formed your beliefs. And it's constantly happening along our lives. It's constantly happening. What happened here, those are the beliefs that we formed. And we think they are ours, but that's the outcome, is a byproduct of all those elements to which we were exposed at the beginning of our lives. So because we've been exposed to those kind of emotions, words, images, or stories, or experiences that gave us the first setup, it doesn't mean that is you, but those are the first beliefs. Now, when you do some psychological work and you go into your childhood memories, it's very important that you go back to the first memory when some traumatic events happened which shaped in a very negative way the way you think about yourself, the way you perceive yourself. You got to go to the first one. Until you don't get to the first one, you just heal a little bit, but you got to go to the first one. It requires some specific work. Now, this is the second domain. This is the belief system. The third one is the behavior, because you started to use those beliefs, and because those beliefs were the first one that you formed, it's very easy to use them because you almost haven't decided. You are not consciously choosing to what images to be exposed, to what words to be exposed, what words to use, to which stories you've got to pay attention, to which stories you shouldn't pay attention, to which experiences you have to allow importance, to which experiences you should ignore. You didn't have those powers. So of course you formed automatically some beliefs. You didn't choose that. And we're all very close to the 4-step process. The fourth domain are the results. The way you behave will give you the results according to the beliefs that you have. And you've got the beliefs that you've got because of the answer of the question of who am I? But not who am I as was a true self, because your true self changes. It's a very interesting thing. Many people will say, you got to know your true self. You got to know your true self. All right, it changes. So now what? So then you change a little bit in the next year. So you're spending next year trying to find yourself, again, your true self. good, you get closer to it, but then again, you get closer, but then it changes. So you might spend your whole life looking for your true self, not even finding it, because you find it, but then it changes, because when it changes it, you rise in consciousness, God helps you, guides you, gives you more wisdom, you say, oh, I can change, then you change it. So what are you chasing when you want to know your true self? Opening yourself and allowing yourself to be ready, God to bless you and to allow you to guide you on your path. That's a true identity. You're made in God's image. That's your true identity. So whatever you're going to be exposed along the way, I'm going to change. I'm going to allow that to happen without resisting, so that I can know who I can become according to the identity which God gave me, rather than chasing your own tail, constantly looking for your true self, and you never find it. And once you find it, you say, oh, it's not it. There's something more. Complex conversation, but in a few seconds. Now, we've got these four, look at these 4 domains. We've got these four domains that are driving and then are managing our life. Who do we think we are? What do we think is true or not? What do we deserve or not? How do we behave according to the beliefs that we formed? And those are the results which are reflecting everything which is below. So now you might asking yourself, playing and being your own detective. All right, goody. If those experiences to which I've been exposed right here at the beginning formed my beliefs, means that using this framework, according to this algorithm, if I can start changing the words, the images, the emotions, the experiences, and the stories to which I'm exposed, probably I will start thinking differently about myself, and probably many things I'm going to doubt and say, oh, wait a second, what if I thought about myself it's not true? What if? I know, don't steal, you shall not steal. Okay, I know that, but why? And they're like, oh, that's why. So you start to empathize with the other side, and you start to look at yourself from a different perspective, from a different point of view, and say, oh, why did I behave this way? Oh, because I thought that my identity is diminished in that way, so then I try to cover that so that I can put an impression there outside so that people don't think what I think about myself. What a mess. Oh my gosh, how do I get out of that? So you can see now for yourself that if you start cleaning those beliefs and you can start to change your environment consciously, not when you didn't have choices, you didn't have a choice, but consciously, then you can start to change the way you perceive your identity. Then you can start to change your beliefs and say, what if what I'm doing now this phase, trying to build my business, and I don't have a premium offer, it's not because I don't know what that could be. I don't believe so much that my offer could help in the market with my customer. I don't believe. I know it helped me, but I don't believe that people would believe my story. So that's why I don't have a premium offer. What if what I think is not the way it is? What if I believe it's so, but when I think about it, I actually don't have even an argument why that could be true? Because seems to me it is not. It's a painful process, but it's a process that you can begin, and you can begin it today. So what is that 4-step process? What is that 4th process that you can start to change the way you think about yourself, the way you perceive who you are, the way you perceive your power, the way you look forward, the way you look towards your past, the way you look at your belief system, the way you look at your results, rather than judging and blaming the environment? What can I do so that I can change? So then I can believe a different thing. So then I can start take action upon this new belief, because self-belief is enough. Without action, it's not enough. And taking action without a self-belief is also a struggle. If you take action, but you never believe that you're going to get the results you're going to get, it's painful. Yeah, you might get it, but that one lifetime, it might not be enough. So you've got to also believe yourself, to build your self-belief, and also to take action so that you can see the purpose in front of you, but you also can trust the process and can allow yourself to start to take action upon these new belief, this new understanding of who you are and why are you here and what you are about to do and build in the future. All right, so what is this 4-step process that you can start right now, right today? All right, so we're going to start backward. Now you're taking also notes, right? So you remember when you've been exposed to experiences, ideas, and thoughts, you're exposed to some thoughts from other people. They were thinking for you, and you were witnessing a thinking process of somebody else. You're also being exposed to some images. We've got to go back right where we started to form ourselves so that we can start to reshape the game. That's what we're going to do. You've been exposed to some images. You've also been exposed to some experiences. Something was happening around you. People were interacting. Or you've been told you can't have this, you can only have that because we don't have this, because we have that. And you've also been exposed to some words. People were speaking to you in a way or another. So mainly, that's what we've got. We've been exposed to these kind of things, to these kind of phenomena. Now, if we translate it, if we take it to another level, means that would be your brain. That would be your brain. Those would be your eyes. Those would be your emotions, because you were translating and interpreting the experiences that you've been exposed to. And these are your ears, right? So your ears allowed you to be exposed to those words. The emotional system, which it's built already within you, we all got an emotional response to some things because of the experience that we're exposed to. Then we've got eyes, we see things, and we've got a brain, so we were processing the way we could. So these are the 4 engines or the 4 channels that we were using when we were forming our identity, our belief system, and we started to build our thinking, our behavior, and because of that setup, now we get the results that we get because we act that way, because we think that way, because we believe that way. Now, what can you do before we start to look at what can you do right now? So it means that this one is the think. This is one is what you see. This is what you feel, and this is what you hear. All right, good. No more. These 3 are going to be enough. Now we're going to write here down what can you start doing so that you can start to change everything that you need to change without being attached to the idea that if it's not in me, means it's not me. If I can't see it, means it doesn't exist. We've got to get out of this understanding that if I can't understand it, means if it's wrong. If I can't see it, means it doesn't exist. If I can't touch it, means it's not there. If I'm not aware, means it is never been there. And if I can't see it within me, probably I don't have it. We've got to get out of this setup. And we have to reverse the game. And that's what we're doing during this masterclass. That's why you've got to go to the beginning and start posing the right question. Rather than fighting what's on the surface, go deeper. And that's what we're going right now. Means that what you think, what you see, what you feel, and what you hear are shaping your belief system and help you to adjust your perception of your identity. If you want to make happen that big change in your life, with the system that you've got, with the understanding, with the low self-belief, with the low self-esteem, and you blame the personality, or you blame your past, or you blame your setup, you blame your parents, you blame your friends, you blame your country, you blame the economy, and you always think that there is something in the outer world that's wrong, and if everything else would have been better, then I could have achieved what I want to achieve. Nope. Sorry. No. Because if you believe you are not enough, if you believe that you don't have what it takes, you'll always, thinking your mind, you'll always find reasons why you're right. And you always find reasons why it is not possible. And you probably already having a taste of, all right, seriously? It's like, oh, me, and like I've been building this. I tell you one thing, that sometimes, because of the belief system that we've built in our life, and I've been in that period when my life became a hell on earth and a hell within myself. Not because the hell was around me, but because I thought I deserved to stay in that corner, surrounding myself with those flames of shame, of thinking that I am not special in God's eyes, that I'm a nobody. And I was trying not to get out of that hell which I was building for myself. What I've been trying was, how can I get in a corner of that hell so that I can cool myself a little bit? How can I resist those feelings of shame, those thoughts which were yelling at me, telling, you are a nobody, you don't have what it takes. Let me tell you one thing. In the first age, I took my MBA a few years ago, but after the high school, I stopped and I didn't go to the college. I didn't go there. What I want to tell you is I was working in a restaurant, and after a restaurant I became a personal trainer. But before I started to work as a personal trainer, I was dreaming about me being in a white polo so that I can be a valuable asset for someone to serve and teach and help someone to guys. I'm like, wow, that would be beautiful. I was going to the gym. I was loving it. I started to learn things, so I knew a few things how to before I started to learn deeper. So I was working in the restaurant, and for 5 years, I worked at the restaurant, not opening even one book about biology or anatomy, or sports, or psychology, or everything else. Because when I was picturing myself in a white polo, being a personal trainer, I said, I live in Italy now, my mother tongue is Russian, and I was saying, like, I do have an accent, who's gonna listen to me? And they're gonna look at me, talents are gonna look at me and say, like, you have an accent, you're not that I'm just telling you my thoughts. I'm just telling you how I was feeling. And I was feeling and being sure that nobody is going to trust a person that has an accent. I'm laughing now. I was crying at that time because I thought, the hell I've done with my life, why I've made the decisions I've made. And as everybody else, I'm almost sure that we've got those periods in our life when we didn't believe in ourselves even an inch, where we had a fake self-belief about ourselves, and we somehow got over it a little bit, and then we started to build our business. Now when we have to get out in the world and start to show the offer and how can we help the people we want to help and serve, we go back to that kind of behavior and we say, yeah, but I'm not gonna build this sales page, I can do this, I can do that. But you've been through that process already, and you saw that it was your beliefs, it was your understanding, your perception about who you are, which was not true. And now we go back to it. No, it's the same. It's the same process. We've got to learn this one time and forever. Every single time you desire something greater than what you have and who you are, then you want to do greater things than those you are doing now. If you look within and you see problems and conflicts, the first thing you've got to do, face them and remind yourself about the victories that you've got previously, because I reassure you, the process is the same. Do not overcomplicate it. Do not fight the fights which are not yours. Do not shed blood where you don't have to. By that I mean fighting your inner conflicts and because that's what we sometimes do when we been through some victories, but we don't build the self-belief, the resilience that we already have the tools to build. we nurture the demons within ourselves, and then we are fighting them morning to night. And then we feed them with low confidence and spending time watching things which we don't have, listening to people we don't have, listening to the thoughts and emotions and thoughts we don't have to. We feed those demons, those monsters, and then we cry about fighting them. Oh my gosh, stop feeding them. And I tell you this I'm telling you that because from my whole love that I've got for you. Not because that's easy, but we've got to realize that once and forever. Let's stop nurturing the monster so that we can avoid the fights which are not meant to be there, so that we stop overcomplicating things. So the first step, speak to yourself. That's what you can do now. Speak to yourself as you speak about someone you care. How the hell is that possible? That we beat ourselves because we're not smart enough, or because I don't know how. I know how it takes. He's great, she's great, not me. Who the hell gave you permission to talk so bad about yourself? Who the hell gave you permission to diminish the value that God has put within you? Who gave you and I permission to disconsider the power and the light which is waiting us to get out of our own way and to let it to grow? Who gave us permission to talk idiotic, stupid, dumb things in our heads about ourselves? Stop right now. Always talk to you as you would speak to someone that you care. And you might say, yeah, but I don't become smarter because of that. When you start to talk to you as you would speak with someone that you care about, you'll be encouraging, you'll be empowering. You would say, we could try this, we could try that. You'll start change the questions. How can I stop feeding this monster, this habit? You will be oriented towards, there is something that I've been nurturing until today, and you'll start to have the freedom to allow yourself to change. Doesn't mean that your setup changes. You give yourself the right to build a new setup. Now we can go much backward to where my identity comes from. The soul comes with some gifts, and God has a purpose for you. But we can go and have a beautiful conversation about that. But that is going to be a spiritual conversation. We want to maintain here these psychological, and during this video, the psychological approach and perspective, because it's something that you can do. This is something you can do. This is the gate that you can start to open. Speak to you as you would speak to someone that you care. Boy, I can tell you how your life, how your perception of who you are changes when you start doing it. By that means in reverse as well. Never speak to yourself in a way which you wouldn't speak to someone that you care for. It's simple, ladies and gentlemen and dear friends. It's simple. Let's not complicate it. I care for you, and I care that I can efficiently serve you. By that, I'm telling you right now, do not complicate it. Let that belief to go, the belief that says that it's gotta be complicated. And the more complicated I make, probably the more efficient and long-lasting it is going to be. No. This is the first step which you can start to do now. Speak to yourself as you would speak with someone that you care for. Great. Next one. Most people see in their past a problem. They look in their past and say, trauma, parents, friends, failures. Okay, good. That is not your setup. That's not your destination. I know you know. That's not your destination. You're not supposed to go there. You're supposed to go forward. Why do you want to go backward? Doesn't mean you don't have to look backward. Therefore, the second thing, take notes. The second thing you gotta do now, look in the past. Look into the past. You're taking notes. I see you. So that you can see the present. What does it mean? Rather than becoming so good at being such a great negative detective because of that shit that happened to me in my childhood, because of the words that I didn't receive, therefore, that's why I'm miserable now. Okay, good. I mean, I'm not happy for it. I've been there, and I'm gonna share a story a little bit later. But means that if you keep doing what you've been done, what they done to you, if you keep doing now that to yourself, means the same miserable situation is going to be prolonged. You've got the key. So, what's the key? If I treat myself in this way or in that way, this is the outcome. Therefore, if I want a different outcome, I gotta stop treating myself the way I've been treated. Otherwise, that's what I'm going to get tomorrow, which is what I've got today. So rather than being so focused backward and saying, "Ow, because all of that," no, because all of that, you behave that way and you form those beliefs that you've built, and you've got the results of the actions that you've taken, and that's what you've got now when you want to change it, means that you got to do the opposite. Look back so that you can see, look in the past so that you can see the present. Today's aspiration, write it down. This needs to be written down. Today's aspiration gotta be the tomorrow foundation. You want to write this down. This is huge. This is big. This can potentially change your life in the following minutes. Today's aspirations gotta be the tomorrow's foundation. What does it mean? Means that what you want to accomplish today and you want to change and you can change today, do not postpone it so that the past doesn't become the future. Start implementing those little changes now so that tomorrow you can start from there to the next level. Do not prolong and overcomplicate the process of changing. Free yourself from being in love and attached to those beliefs just because they were given to you for free without being asked. Whereas now you can do those changes. Let me tell you something harsh. Changes, but you don't do. Let me tell you something a little bit that might sound a little bit harsh. I see so many people which blame their past, and I'm wondering, boy, you've been exposed to those kind of experiences, to that kind of pain, and you know they could have done differently, but that's all right. That's your setup. But you weren't in charge and say, yeah, I was a kid, so I didn't know, so I didn't choose that. And you've got a few years there. Now you've got a decade where you are an adult, you are a conscious individual, but you're refusing to change it. You refuse to act differently. And you blame them but you don't want to take responsibility for 10 times more opportunities that you've got for yourself. Isn't this a little bit strange? It seems a little bit selfish and lazy to me. So, today's aspiration gotta be the tomorrow's foundation. Do not overcomplicate it. By that, make sure that your eyes are focused on what's valuable to you, not on what you hate, not on what you despise. Start focusing on your strengths, start focusing on your gifts, start focusing on great things, and whatever you put in front of your eyes is going to play. This is not a rule or a scientific proved or somehow experience based, but from this framework, this is going to shape by 25% your identity. What you look at, the images that you put in front of yourselves, the book that you look at, the books, the people that you're looking in order to learn from them, whatever you put in front of yourself, whatever your eyes are looking at, inner eyes and external eyes, physical eyes as well, that is going to shape your identity. Like it or not. From one side, it's empowering. I've got a question here. I've never watched TV in my home. I never, I didn't watch it in my childhood and in my adulthood. I never had a TV in my house. Now I have a question for you. If there are idiots which do dumb things, and there are other people which think they're better, watching those idiots doing dumb things, and they blame them, but they don't do anything. They don't spend that time into doing something great. And they spend every day, every morning watching those news, which are not news. They're very old. That happened for old out millennials. That's what what's happening in the world. And you keep watching idiots doing dumb things. That's the news that you watch. I've got a question for you. Who's the idiot? I forgive my bluntness. I gotta be an idiot watching idiot doing dumb things and not investing that time in doing something great. I just ask. I'm just asking. Whatever you put in front of your eyes, whatever you're going to look at, that's what you are going to model. You want to change you want to think and perceive who you are differently so that you can start to be creative and start to see opportunities. You can't see them unless you change. You want to change, never speak to yourself as you wouldn't speak to someone that you care for. So that's number one. Step number two, look in the past so that you can see the present. And the other side is also, you want to see the future? You can see the future. Here is a way to predict your future. Look at what we're doing now. Look in the present, you're going to see the future. You want to see your past? Beautiful. Look at your present. Look at your present, you're going to see your past. Because the future is going to be according to what you do now, and you do now what you are doing now because of the past. That's what you are coming from. So you see, you can see in the present and your past and both your future, with one difference, that you can turn your eyes towards the past, blaming the past and everybody else, including you, or you can start looking in the future and say, what can I start changing so that I do not keep doing what I've been doing, because what I've been doing led to what I am now, to what I've got now, and that's not something I deserve. But you can't even believe you deserve better if you are focused on the past, because you're always going to find reasons and arguments why you deserve what you've got and you don't deserve something better. Why? Because you're focused on the past, because you're focused on that pain, you're nurturing that pain, you're feeding those monsters, and then you spend your whole life fighting those monsters. And then you feed them and you wake up in the morning, that monster is bigger, and say, oh my God, I gotta fight now a bigger monster. Who fed it? Stop giving food to that monster. So the second step, what you put in front of your eyes, is going to shape your belief system, your behavior, and the way you perceive yourself. Let's wrap it up quickly. Let's go to the third stage. The third action that you can start taking right now is to start creating a winning experience. What does it mean? A winning experience. You have to stop being so hard on yourself, seeing and watching, admiring your failures. We sometimes want to change our lives, but we are so good at putting our failures on the pedestal. We take pride in making those failures, which is, well, right, made a failure, you learn from it. Why are you worshiping those failures? Stop being so focused on those failures. Damn it. Create a winning experience. What does it mean? Do something that allows you to have the taste of winning. Something small. Set a goal and achieve it. We want to achieve great things in our lives. We want to grow a business, to build a business, but we avoid being responsible and taking the accountability for achieving the goals that we set for ourselves today. And we never have this taste of victory that allows us and fuel a little bit of action. How? Do you think you are a machine? You're a human. You've got eyes, you got emotions, ears, and thoughts. So you hear, you see, you speak, and you think, you feel. And you do according to what you feel, hear, see, and speak. Those are the channels which are nurturing your behavior. Want to change your behavior because you want to change your results? You got to change the way you see yourself. How do you change your see yourself? By starting to take care of these 4 gates that you are responsible to open. This is a psychological perspective. This is not a spiritual perspective. This is a psychological perspective. Means, what does it mean? It means, imagine you have a garden. What's spiritual and physical? Here's the difference. Here's how you can make a distinction between what's spiritual and what's physical. Spiritual and physical. Is this something that I can do, or is this something that the God is going to decide for me? You've got a garden. Now you can decide what kind of trees you want to plant in that garden. So you decide to put a kind of tree in your garden. You plant them, you take care of them, you water them, but God makes them to grow. Some trees are going to succeed, some trees are not going to, but you take care of them. That's what He can do. Now you may say, oh, I didn't think that this tree is going to grow so big. I want to change it. No problem. If you remember when God tells Joshua in the chapter 1, verse 6, 7, and 9, verse 9, have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Then God says, and I will be with you wherever you go. Wait a second. What kind of forever? Wherever. There's the promised land. Means the destination is set. Yes, but wherever you're going to go, I'm going to be with you. The promise is different. It's different. The promise says, wherever you go, I will be with you if you're strong and courageous, because I'm going to give you the courage and the strength that you need so that you can make the right choice where to go. But make the decision. So that's how you make the difference between spiritual and physical. You are free to choose what kind of trees you want to have in your garden. God is going to decide what trees should succeed and what trees should not, so that you can learn from that feedback and start deciding where to put different kind of trees. Maybe you want flowers, maybe you like something different. Feel free to choose that. God is going to teach you how to choose better. So this is the third step that you can start to do now. Create winning experiences every single day so that you can have also an emotional engagement during this process, so that you can move faster forward rather than getting stuck into thinking and believing that you don't have what it takes and you are not good enough. The 4th gate that you can open now, not later, now. Here are the words, and the words that you also tell to yourself, not only words that you hear. So what you can start to do is to start to make a discernment. So discern the sound. It sounds a little bit funny and disgusting. The sound of the waves from the sound of the flash toilet. Straight to the point. You gotta make discernment. Who's talking? What kind of sound is this? Who's this voice? You've got to remember this. There are so many voices in our heads. There are voices which comes from our experiences, from our failures, from God, from the devil, from a friend, from a past friend, from people which were disrespecting us, who didn't believe in ourselves, from people which believed in ourselves, from us that we remember about ourselves as believing in ourselves, from us where we were not believing in ourselves. There are so many voices. You've got to learn to make the difference. to which voice am I listening? You've got to, because those voices are always present. There are always people which are telling you do this, do that, try this, try that. That's great. Look at their intention, look at their direction, look at their purpose. So you've got to learn how to make the difference between the voices that you hear. By the voices, I don't mean that you are from having a psychological problem. I mean by inputs and thoughts which sounds like voices, and also the words that you speak. That's a much bigger. We can make a masterclass on the words. So we keep it very simple. But to remember it, discern the sound of waves. There is a sound of wave which is encouraging. There is a voice of which sometimes there is a little bit of constructive criticism, and there is a voice which is just gaslighting you, and they want you to fail, and they never want you to succeed. Those are voices as well. If we don't learn how to make discernment between those voices, we're doomed to constantly fail and forget about who we are and what we're meant here to do, and who do we want to become, where we want to be, and what we want to get. Why? Because you're listening to everything that comes in your head. That's not the way a great man, by man I mean synonymously for us as creation, that's not the way the man could operate. A great man should learn to make the difference between who's talking, who's speaking, who am I speaking and talking to. The years are your responsibility. You've got to learn when you have to bend your ear and when it's time to not listen to any naysayers or people which don't have great intentions. So if sometimes you are confused and you don't know, is somebody trying to help you, giving some feedback and constructive criticism, or do they have some different intentions? Go and ask them. Hey, I appreciate a lot. Can I ask you what made you say that? Like, how have you come to this conclusion? What's the boiling process? Just go and ask them what costs you, and you'll get so much information. You will see how do the people think and what are their intentions. Maybe they're not going to tell you the truth, but at least you're gonna see more details so that you can start to learn to make the discernment between, as we mentioned before, between the waves of the ocean and the flash toilet. They're sometimes similar, but they're not the same. These are the things that you can start to do today. You can start to speak to yourself as you would speak to someone that you care for. The second one, look in the past so that you can see the present. Your today's aspiration gotta be the tomorrow's foundation. Look in the future and see if the reflection is in the present. Also, not only spiritually, also physically. What do you put in front of your eyes? Because you might say, I want something great, something big that is going to bring such a huge shift in my consciousness, and I'm going to become just wow, like that. No. It doesn't happen this way. I reassure you with 100%, it just starts with little steps, little things that you can start to make to do them today, step by step, goal by goal, so that you can move forward. God is going to be with you if you are going to trust your life and set your heart according to God's will, pleasing God and serving people. If you've got these two in front of you, and you're going to love your neighbor the way you love yourself, and love yourself the way you love your neighbor, because both are true, miracles are going to happen in your life. And you're going to start to see, and you're going to start to see how all those things from your past, or those convictions and beliefs that you've got about yourself, they're not because you consciously chose them to be there, because that's your setup, that's what you've been exposed, so that now you can train your warrior skills so that God can have you in the mission that you are here on earth to accomplish and to do. It's beautiful. Isn't this amazing? This is empowering. But from your side, it's also some intentions and some actions that you can do. and the words that you use, so that you can make the difference between what's the quality of the words that I do speak. Never use negative words, bad words about others, about yourself, and be very powerful and very straightforward when you find yourself between people which don't care about their words, they don't care about their thoughts, they don't care about where they look, what they watch, who do they listen to, and the experiences they build for themselves in their life. You have to allow yourself to be powerful enough to step away from that. Be kind, be straightforward. Thank you very much. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Good luck. If you need my help, I might be here. Otherwise, bye-bye. When I started to take this kind of straightforwardness and being clear, what's my value, what is not, what are my standards, everything starts to fall in their places, and everything starts to become much clearer and much easier than it is. And most importantly, that will help you, will humble you through the feeling of the power that you're going to feel. And I assure you one thing, when you really start having some wins, a taste of power, true power, you will really become actually humble. Here's the huge difference between really becoming powerful and just building an idea of being powerful, an ego-driven power. When you really start to feel powerful, your desire to humble yourself and to serve and help increases automatically, instinctively. It becomes automatic, like, oh my God. And you humble, you go on your knees and say, thank you so much for this clarity, for this wisdom. What can I do with it? How can I please you and serve you? Because you gave me this power, I want to do something with it. That's the reaction when you really got a little bit of true power. Now, on the other side, when it's a power that you build through your mind, through your just reading books, just convincing yourself that I got the, then you get some power and you say, oh, now I'm gonna express this power over other people. Now you can look into what you feel, so that might help you a little bit to make the differences. So these 4 gates that I've shared with you are the gates which are going to nurture the hero within you or the monster within you. So if you want to change, the environment, the life you've got around you, that starts from within. And when you start to make these little changes, shifts in your life, not because I'm saying it, but because it is written, and because it happened, and will happen with God's help in my life, you're going to humble yourself through the power that is going to be given to you. And that is a miracle, what I call a miracle of life, to which I invite you to experience. Start with this, and then you're going to see the light forward, and you will know what to do. But never again allow these 4 gates to be filled with everything, and just unconsciously letting yourself being exposed to those factors, those experiences, those feelings, thoughts, and words which are below the standards of your future and your present. And let the past to help you to understand and gain more wisdom for the present rather than hating it. Move forward, do the right thing, and everything is going to be amazing. See you in the next masterclass. Take care. Bye-bye.